Hi everyone, I'm wearing a hat, and not only that, it's turned backwards. That means I mean business. And today that business is installing these OEM CS taillights in my 2017 BMW M3. If you follow my channel, you know that last year I actually tinted my OEM taillights to give me that darker look to go with all the dark accents in the car, and that tint is holding up very well. I'm going to show you a couple of close-ups pretty soon. But in the spirit of me going back to that OEM-ish or OEM plus look, they started to bother me a little bit because this is not how they came from the factory, and nowadays I'm all about factory-ish look, if you will. If you follow my recent updates, you know what I'm talking about. So I purchased these CS tail lamps, and yes, it's not the most cost-effective upgrade because what I did with the tint cost me $40. Purchasing these was a lot more expensive, but again, this was my year-end gift to myself. If you don't know, BMW actually offers 3 different types of taillights for the current generation F80. Not F82, not F83. They have different shapes. So I'm only talking about F80s, and also this applies to the F30. You've got the standard ones, which are your traditional red ones, which is what I have here under this tint, and they look fantastic. You also have these Shadowline taillights, which landed on the M3, which are these, and you also have these black ones. I don't know, I forgot what they're called, but they're black and white. A lot of people with white cars have them, and they look fantastic. On my car, they would look too much like a Mitsubishi, so I decided against them. So I went with these darker ones. Speaking of the darker taillights, these are the Shadowline ones that also landed on the CS, and these are the ones that I tinted. And as you can tell, obviously these are slightly brighter, but also they do appear to have that bit of a tint. If you look at your tail lamps, if you own an F80, you'll notice that your taillights are completely red. This part especially is very much red. On this one, it's dark, and it's kind of sporty looking, and it's definitely more OEM. Well, this is OEM compared to the ones that I tinted, which is why I'm going to be going with these taillights. And here I'm going to show you what the tint looks like after about 12 months of use. Everything on this section of the taillight looks great. No creases, nothing is peeling off. On this side, you see these little edges are not exactly seated properly, but that's an installation error. If you know what you're doing, these will hold up very, very well. Again, if you want to make this upgrade, I'm going to link this product in the description. I'm very, very happy with it. Again, I'm going in a different direction, but this tint, there's a little bubble here. There, again, it's all my fault. This product is really, really fantastic, and it holds up very, very well, even after many, many months of abuse. Installing these taillights is actually very straightforward. I'm going to show you how to do this. See, the trunk opens up for me automatically. So come here, let me show you how to get it done. Why do I have all these intakes in my trunk? Anyways, that's a topic for another conversation fairly soon. So starting from this side, first thing you need to do is you need to remove this rubber piece, and there's a little screw up here that you undo using a screwdriver. It's a plastic screw, and this is what it looks like. I'm going to put it up there, and this simply allows you to take this guy out. Next, we grab your favorite 10mm and we undo these 2 bolts. The next step is quite simple. What you do is you just give it a little tug. Come on. There you go, push it out gently. And there's a little connector here in the back that you simply unplug, and the tail light is off. So let's compare them real quick and spot any real differences. Again, I know it's going to be very, very hard to notice the difference on these because they have been tinted, but again, this side, you see this area behind this and this, it's a lot darker than the OEM ones. This, or the blinker, is going to be orange this time, and other than that, they look pretty similar. And the beauty of these taillights, they are simply plug and play if you have the LCI model. If you don't have the LCI model, you're going to need the harness, but again, you just plug them in, put the cable here in that little nudge so it doesn't wiggle, and you simply just push them back in. There's a little guide here up front, And there we go. We're gonna hand tighten these. So I'm not gonna show you the final product just yet because we're gonna have to do the trunk piece right now. Oh yeah, and don't forget this plastic piece back in here with this plastic screw. And to get to the lights on the trunk, what you have to do is you have to remove this liner, which is held by a couple of these screws. So this one, this one, this one, this one. There's a couple of them on the inside, and the liner will simply drop along with these plastic covers. And now, with all the screws being out, the last step is removing these plastics. You have these little clips here. You squeeze them and they should pop open. And this whole thing just comes off. This slides over, revealing the trunk lights. And now, to remove the tail light, all you have to do is, you see there's a little 10mm there, but the one that we used previously is not deep enough, so you're gonna need a deep one. And obviously 10mm is the one that I lose the most, so I'm gonna use a 5/16, which is as close to 10mm as it gets. Okay, with this one loosened up, you should be able to simply just push the tail light up. You see, this is what happens. See, I'm pushing it up. So the trick is to push it up and slide sideways. So you push it up and then you grab it and slide sideways. So sort of up and to the side. And then you can simply remove it. But before you remove it, obviously you're gonna have to disconnect this plug. So now let's compare the original one versus the Shadowline one. Shape is the same, color is darker. So okay, I'm gonna show you exactly how to install it. So first thing we do is we plug it in, and then you see this little guy here. This has to catch into this gap. So you kind of lift up the tail, make it catch into this gap. There we go. Perfect. You see, it's nicely lined up. And then all we do is now we just tighten this 10mm. Before we go any further, I just want to show you the difference between the two. So the one on the left-hand side is the OEM one that is tinted. The one on the right-hand side is the CS one. And what I like about the CS one is that, yes, it is darker, but it's also more pronounced. Sort of like more HD, if you will. So again, this is the one that's tinted. Nothing wrong with it, but it's a bit murky looking, not as crisp. Whereas this one, yes, it's also darker, but it's also more crispy. And I kind of like it, and it goes very well with the lines of the car. So now let's get to the other side, and the other side is gonna be a lot quicker because all we have to do is just clap our hands. There we go. Wow, that was super quick. Anyways, let's see what the lights look like when I apply brakes and put the taillights on. That's with the lights on, tail lights on, off, tail lights on, tail lights off. Let's do reverse lights. Ooh, very cool indeed. So what do you think? I know, it's not much of a power mod, it's just a visual change, if you will. But again, I myself am going through a change, so in my mind, this looks better, more OEM, if you will. Let me know what you think of this mod, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video. There's a lot coming up because I'm doing a lot of switching this year. All right, thanks, bye.